So, hello, Jamie. I'm very
Hi.
pleased to welcome you in your, not your studio, isn't it?
Oh, I am in my studio.
It-
I'm having a heater installed, but they're not here yet, so I'm
so
here.
it's early morning. It's 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Mhm.
Eight.
Early for me. I'm a night owl.
You're a night owl. So we arranged so that you can see the exhibition, the room in the back. So this gives you the kind of first view. So would like to talk a little bit about your presentation in the exhibition. I think the starting point is the harp, which
Mhm.
was which you've done. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the harp. It's from a series of work called Rug Woogie, and then
Mhm.
with a little figure. So I think this is a special harp because it has been created during Art Basel.
Yeah,
So
although
I,
I did start it in Karlsruhe. I was sitting at the harp and I was in the position of where I would be playing it, but instead of playing it and making music, I was weaving it. And as I was weaving it, I was slowly removing the sound rather than creating sound. I think it's funny because there's this cliche that uh, people play, that you might have a harp player or a cello player at a art opening. And I felt a little bit like that at Art Basel, playing the music, the accompanying music, but then I was actually not. And the idea is, I mean, it's just a contradiction. And when you put rugs on the floor, they dampen sound. So I'm turning the harp into a rug,
oh,
making it into a loom. And yeah, so and the title is based on I called them Rug Woogies, based on Broadway
Mondrian.
Boogie Woogie, but Mondrian. I wanted to have a reference to some sort of musical performance.
In a way, the harp is the starting point for the show, and it has also initiated the drawings you were contributing to the show because you said that they should be a little bit domestic. The idea of the domestic and to have more instruments and around. So you decide to have a bugle, and so maybe I can show it here. And so here you see it, how we have presented it. And here you see the other objects around. So when did you have the idea that it relates to a political state of mind, or to that all these objects have something to do with the state of America, maybe, or the state of a political order?
Well, I began by choosing objects that I wanted to paint that were, as you said, that were domestic, but that had a relationship to performance and music, which is what the harp does. Well, first it began, I think, with the history of the light bulb, and I started to realize that they look like the Statue of Liberty holding her torch. And in 2018, I had a project at the IFA at NYU, the Institute of Fine Art at NYU, where I was thinking about the Statue of Liberty's torch. And so and thinking, fire and light has been a common theme in my work for a long time.
Yeah.
And so in that show, it was based on thinking about questions of truth, and a quote from Moby Dick, the book the Herman Melville book, Moby Dick, that's something like, um, glad, glorious, golden sun, the only true lamp, all others but liars. And so thinking about the sun as the only true lamp and makes light in that is comes from an artificial source, a kind of deception because
Hmm.
it's not the sun. And so thinking about domestic objects as and especially lamps and light bulbs as or things that are inside as having a relationship to deception. And as then I started to reevaluate the other works that I had chosen, such as the bugle and the hair dryer,
Yeah.
which which I'm seeing, I started seeing as these, one is sort of militaristic, and I had the hair dryer, which is another domestic object that is like the light bulb in that it is like a natural force, like the wind, in the way
Hmm.
that light bulbs are like the sun.
Yeah.
Um, I see the two as kind of exhaling, like um the hair dryer is blowing out and the bugle is blowing out, and then I wanted to have them have a kind of conversation where they're blowing at each other. And I saw that as in thinking about these two poles in America, where we're having a divided America at the moment, where we have different views of what America should be and how we should help each other or not. And I'm seeing that in every facet of American life right now.
What you realized here in this one room in the show, Four Rooms, A Floating World, is a kind of allegory of the state of America, but also it just brings in so many different um, facets, so many different ideas. So the idea of the memento mori, which is very important in your work, but the drawings, they also have a relation to this kind of scientific drawings. So to make them kind of objective.
Right,
But you call it a little bit an objective subjectivity,
right,
and this
right,
kind
right,
of this wordplay. And I
right.
think these drawings in itself start to have an inner life,
Hmm.
to have a certain presence. And of course, one of the important works, The Fire in the Basket, is it too simple to say that this is the state of our world, or?
It's, I mean, it's okay because to say that it's a little, there is a little bit of a pun on the or the on the saying we've gone to hell in a handbasket.
I didn't know
I
this
don't,
expression.
you don't
That's a
know the
wonderful.
expression?
No,
Yeah.
no,
So
but
um I'm not actually, I don't know where it came from, but it has been feeling a little bit like that for the past few years.
and then the visit of Oz here in the back, the two brooms, um, which are hanging the way you wanted them to hang, like on a table.
Hmm.
And of course, this is a little bit an American thing. The story, but
Hmm.
the witch is not really. She's disappearing. She's after at the end. She disappears in the fire, isn't she?
No, she melts.
She melts.
Yes.
Yeah.
She so I in the Wizard of Oz, she actually sets her broom on fire to protect, to perhaps threaten our the four main characters, and um And so then she and then one of the characters is a scarecrow who's made out of straw, and who could be set on fire very easily. And so then the Tin Man grabs a bucket of water, which is a strange thing to have hanging on a wall if you're susceptible to dying from water. And he throws the water onto the witch, and she melts.
Okay.
And so this broom on fire. I've been thinking a lot about this witch and about this film, and I realized that there's actually a very famous musical called Wicked that's based on her, but I actually have never seen it and I know nothing about it, but I probably should because I've been thinking a lot about her. I think it's her backstory. I was thinking about the brooms as kind of candles, as something that you might put light on fire as a threat, but then putting them in candlesticks is kind of like containing this threat. And then you asked me an interesting question, which is why are there two? And why I put them on the table is because I wanted two is because often people put two candles on the table, and it's like a reference to the tabletop, and that which is a reference to still life, which is a common theme in my work, and objects on a table that are domestic objects. And then and the broom as a domestic object also. Sure. And then also one of my many thoughts about the Wizard of Oz, I can't help but think of the witch as like when you see these depictions of anti-Semitic depictions from like from Shakespeare on, where the witches are having a Sabbath, and they're wearing these pointed hats, which is a traditional Jewish hat, and that Jews eventually were required to wear during medieval times as a marker of it's like the yellow star that Jews were required to wear, but before that they were required to wear these pointed hats. Mm-hmm. And I always wonder why are witches always wearing pointed hats, and why do they have a Sabbath, which would be like a Shabbat, which is like a Jewish. It's not a holiday, ritual.
Tradition, ritual.
Yeah, and so anyway, I've often felt like the witch in the Wizard of Oz was me, and so then I've painted other watercolors that involve elements of her, like a witch's hat in a puddle of water.
So I think that's a good moment to stop the conversation, also that you can rest and
or wake up.
You woke up, yeah. No, but it was very, very good to see you. I hope you got an idea of the show, and we're very happy with the show, and we're really looking forward. Yes, ma'am. This is. I think there will be many returns, and we're looking forward to new projects with you, and hopefully we will be able to visit. Even Portland is not really around the corner, as we know. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Etienne. Yeah.
And let's speak soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.